I have recurring sleep paralysis. Mine generally all feel the same, and certainly cause the same terror despite the fact that I am aware now that it's sleep paralysis. It's like my hallucinations react to my self-awareness. It began as a demonic, fuzzy, dark figure that would hover above my bed and suck the breath out of my mouth from about 6 inches away. Gasping for air and struggling to move, I would lay for several minutes that felt like an eternity until finally I'd break from it. I'd sit up in a panic, startling my girlfriend, and it would of course be gone. Before reading about sleep paralysis, I thought it was possible that these were actual paranormal incidents. Mind you, I believe in science more than the paranormal. That's just how realistic and terrifying these events are. One time, I heard something slip into bed next to me, and as I struggled to turn my head to the left to look, it slowly growled and got angrier and started to rise above me. So I quickly averted my eyes straight up again at the ceiling, and the creature started to calm its breathing next to me. I thought to myself, oh man, it's sleep paralysis. This is kinda cool. Let's try to keep calm and figure it out. But each time I tried to control it or move, the creature would get angry, and I would involuntarily feel my heart rate go up and get really stressed. So I decided I'd just fall asleep, power through it. That's when the creature whispered, "Yes, just fall asleep. You'll be safe," in a sinister, sarcastic way. That just made it much worse. And each time I tried to power through the sleep, I'd hear more creatures start crawling up my walls and making horrifying sounds, and I'd have to open my eyes to see what was going on, and they'd scatter. So finally, I decided I'd just wake up. So I strained and strained to raise my arms and roll over, and finally I broke out of the paralysis, and everything, of course, was gone. Please drop a like and subscribe for more scary stories. Before I learned to cope with sleep paralysis, I've seen quite a few awful things. Horror films don't really do anything for me anymore because I've already seen the most terrifying things I already could. Here's a few things I remember off the top of my head. First, there was a little girl in the corner of my room staring at me. Then, without notice, she shrieks and runs up and starts choking me. On other times, I see a large, dark figure, kind of a human silhouette, emerging from the foot of my bed and staring down at me for minutes. Quite more often, I hear something banging and scraping on my bedroom door. I keep it locked at night because I have had ones where it opens by itself. Sometimes, a few dark figures enter my room. Thankfully, the door isn't open when I wake up. It only opens in the dream. The earliest one I can remember is with my mother in the room, and she's sitting on my bed. Her face morphs into a demon-like thing, and there were many others. The worst thing is when you try to fight or call for help. Your voice doesn't work, and your body will not respond. You just feel helpless. Ugh, I need to stop trying to remember these things. I'm getting chills. This happened a few years ago when I was sharing a hotel room with my sister and my parents. I woke up and was fixed lying on my back. I tried to get up but couldn't, but I was sure my eyes were open as I could see my darkly lit surroundings. Then I hallucinated seeing this small woman climb from the foot of the bed up upon me. I felt her weight on the bed and saw her ashen hands claw on my sheets. I can picture it so clearly to this day. The shadows of the dark room and her short, spiky hair were slightly obscuring her face. She had this demonic grin on her face as she crawled over me and put her face right in front of my face. I had no choice but to stare back. I was desperately trying to scream to wake my family up, who I could see lying peacefully asleep around me. That's my horrifying experience that happens once every couple of years. Sometimes I manage to wake up from the dream. Half of the time, I probably get tired and fall back to sleep again. I couldn't sleep at all for some time a few years back. I had gone through a couple of months of medical exams and tests and was off work. Still, doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong. I had been in this condition for a few weeks when this happened. I was in bed, almost finally falling asleep when I saw a hooded figure standing in the corner. My bedroom darkened, my eyes flew open, and I saw the shadowy thing there. It started moving towards the bed, like floating almost. Then it leaned over the top of me. It had no face, just a dark void under the hood. The scariest part was not being able to move. I was functionally awake. I could see and hear and feel everything. But I couldn't move at all even when I was trying hard, tried to scream. Nothing. Finally, the thing disappeared, and the room went back to normal. I snapped out of bed, hearing this sound like joints breaking. Let's just say I didn't sleep for a long time after that. I tried to lucid dream for months. I did all the right things, meditate, kept a dream journal, checked for dream signs, etc. One night, I finally found out I was dreaming. I remember being so overjoyed I was dreaming that I woke up. People say you should stay calm when you realize you're lucidly dreaming, or else you can enter a state of sleep paralysis. Whoops. I started seeing shadows darting around the room and heard a witch cackling at the foot of my bed. I even felt the pressure of the bed shift as she sat by my feet. I remember I could only move my eyes, but no other body parts. It felt like gravity just tripled. I experienced this for about half an hour until I forced myself to go to sleep to make it stop. It was the worst time of my life. I never tried lucid dreaming again. I have these episodes very often, and honestly, they're terrifying. Most of the time, I see these 7-foot-tall cloaked figures that sway and chant in low, echoey voices. One of the worst ones that springs to mind is when I woke up and I could hear noises downstairs in my kitchen. Obviously, I couldn't move except my eyes, and there was a crushing weight on my chest. I then heard footsteps slowly coming up the stairs, and they stopped for a second. Then I heard something absolutely gunning it down the hallway towards my room and slamming into my bedroom door. Silence after that. There was the time the little girl from The Ring was sitting in the corner of my room, breathing heavily. She was staring at me, and all I could do is stare back. I once had a giant bird trying to eat me. I felt it scratching at my skin and everything. I get it a couple of times a week, so there are many more I'm missing out, but they aren't fun. When I was in the army, I was sleeping in the top bunk when I had sleep paralysis. First, I hallucinated seeing my buddy come into the room looking for me, approaching the bed and looking at me. His face slowly turned weirdly evil with long teeth, then hands came up from around the bed and started grabbing me. I was awake the whole time with my eyes open, but couldn't move or speak. I remember it was getting difficult to breathe too. I was trying to scream, "Wake me up," because there were other people in the room when it happened. Eventually, they heard me mumbling and woke me up. That's one of the scariest things that ever happened to me. I've gotten mine so frequently that I don't even freak out about it anymore. It's still scary, but not nearly as much as it used to be. The first few hallucinations were awful. First, a little creature would be eating something on my floor. I blink, and suddenly it's right next to my face, chewing on something, and whispers, "Remember me." One time, I had an old lady standing over my head and whispered in a terrifying, raspy voice, "Darling." I told my mum about that one, and she asked if I thought it was my late grandma. No, it was evil. The hallucinations are always evil. Even if I can't see anything, there is an overwhelming presence in the room, and it is always evil. I can't move. I'm stuck. The evil is pulling on me deeper and deeper, and I can't cry for help. I can only breathe heavily as fast as I can, hoping someone will hear me breathing so loud and will come to shake me out of it. Your support means a lot to me. Please drop a like and subscribe to Eerie Echoes for more horror stories. As always, thank you for watching.